Well, I'm really excited today. I'm in for a real treat. I've come to Kings Seeds, who supply Vegetableseeds.net with all their seeds. And they're one of the biggest wholesalers in the country. And I'm off inside to see how they operate. Well, I am fulfilling a bit of a dream here, coming out to Kings Seeds. It's a very exciting place, and you wouldn't believe the scale of it. You get that little tiny packet of seeds at home. You wouldn't believe where they're all spawned from, but this is the place. I'm here with Tony. Can you just introduce yourself for me, mate?
Tony Ward, Sales Director of Kings Seeds.
And you've got quite an operation here, man. This just goes back quite a long way, doesn't it, this company?
The company started in 1888 with E.W. King, who started the company here. It's been now producing at the forefront of seeds since that date, and we're probably the last surviving seed merchant in the UK. Calvin was originally the home of the British seed industry, and Calvin is known as the home of the British seed industry, and we are the last company.
And so, but you're a big player, aren't you, around the country? You supply a lot of different people. I mean, one thing that strikes me here is the sheer scale of it all. Is this a growing business?
Well, that is a good pun, growing business, yes. It is. The seeds is a growing productions. We're producing more each year. We are actually producing seed for not only the growers, etc. We produce seeds for packet companies and ourselves, of course.
So that's amazing. And have you noticed trends change? Because obviously there's been a big surge horticulturally in vegetables and interested in growing your own. Has this affected Kings Seeds businesses at all?
The seed variation each year, obviously is the veg side of the business is growing quite considerably. It used to be around a 50% veg, 50% flowers. We're at the forefront of veg, really, our main thing is. But now it's around about 80% veg seeds to 20% flowers. Really, that's interesting. So there's been a real surge in veg, isn't it? And are there particular varieties or particular types of veg people are more interested in than others? Strangely enough, we find that the most traditional varieties, some of them been around over 100 years, are still the fastest and the biggest sellers.
That's really interesting, and I suppose in a way that there's no mistake that they've been around for 100 years then, because obviously they do what they say on the packet, which is what you're after, isn't it? And have you noticed a lot of sort of maybe more exotic veg coming in? I know that squashes and stuff have got more popular in recent years.
Well, the traditional varieties have been around for years, and they've proven that obviously the actual squashes and various more exotic varieties with the ethnic minorities we've got in this country now, obviously they are getting more and more popular.
Yeah, it's very diverse, isn't it? Now, obviously, when you go into the warehouse, I mean, you've got these huge sacks of seeds. What kind of quantities do you move? Do you have any idea of that at all?
Well, you've got to remember seeds is a very small product, but if you're moving a ton of seed, it could be actually something like about 400 million seeds in there totally. So, a ton pallet may produce something like 400 million plants.
So when I go into that room and you see that big sack, then there could be up to 400 million plants in one of those sacks alone.
On a whole pallet, yes.
On a whole pallet,
it's about 400 million plants.
400 million plants, so that is quite a lot to get your head round, isn't it, really? And the distribution, is it UK based, or do you go overseas as well?
The majority of our business is the UK based. We actually do have quite a good market overseas as well. It's about 10% of our product disappears onto the continent or to the Americas.
But otherwise you're supplying the British growers in Britain, which is quite a good thing, isn't it, in this day and age of sustainability? Well, I'll tell you what, I know there's loads more for me to see, the packaging area and that. Thank you for your time, and let's have everyone come and have a look, yeah? So, I'm with Peter here. Peter, tell me your name and what your job title is here.
I'm Peter Miller. I'm purchasing manager, but also I like to think myself as a seedsman. Having been in the industry for a long time, and done all of the jobs, although I'm based in the office now, I'm still really a seedsman.
So a seedsman, because that's not a term I hear. I'm a horticulturist of 25 years. It's not often I meet a seedsman. And obviously it's highly important to the world of horticulture that we have seedsmen. And you've got these amazing equipment here. Talk me through these, because I've never seen anything like this before.
This machine is a seed dresser for cleaning seed. It can clean seed straight from the farm as it's harvested and clean it to a fairly good degree. That'll take out, you can see here we've got a sieve on the top of the machine which takes out large rubbish. The good seed falls through with some small rubbish. The smaller rubbish is then taken out by a finer sieve, and at the back of the machine here there's a fan which can blow away light rubbish. And within reason, we can clean almost any type of seed on these machines.
Incredible. And so basically what I would call the chaff, it gets rid of all the chaff, is it? All anything that was attached to the seed when it was taken off the plant. And so you've got that, and that's cleaned. Now what intrigues me about this, I mean, this isn't a new machine, is it? In a world where we're surrounded by computers and technology, this looks like it's pretty much doing the same job it would have done 50 years ago.
This machine is about over 60 years old. The ones prior to this were very, very similar. The ones since then are very, very similar. They do exactly the same job. It's more or less replicating what would have been done by hand before this, with 2 sieves and a little hand winnower.
Really? So the principles are exactly the same?
Exactly the same principles all the way through, yeah.
So we've cleaned our seed here.
Well, this is one method of cleaning seed.
Yeah. So there's a
machine like this can't do. It can separate by size and by weight. What it can't do is separate some rubbish in the seed which we don't want, which might be the same size and the same weight. So as an example, if we were putting cabbage seed through here, the cabbage seed might have some dirt or stone in there which is exactly the same size and exactly the same weight. So it'll fall through the same diameter holes, and it's also the same weight, so it can't be blown away by the air. But we've got other machines that will do that.
So this is the first stage on refining the seeds, yeah.
In some cases, this will leave a perfectly good sample, good enough for sale. But in other cases, when there's different types of rubbish in it, it needs other processing.
So is it seed dependent? Are some seeds messier than others?
It depends a little bit on the harvest. Yeah, on harvest season sometimes. If you get a wet harvest, quite often you'll get dirt and rubbish will get onto the seed through the plant, and that'll be retained in the seed sample, and of course you need to get rid of that.
So that's interesting. So moisture dependent then, that plays a role?
A little bit, yes, and very much dependent on the type of seed as well.
Yeah.
Whether it's a low growing plant, and of course with a low growing plant you always pick up dirt, or whether it's the type of plant which is harvested and laid to dry on the ground, and then of course as you're picking that up for combining, it picks up dirt with it. Yeah.
So the cleaning process is quite essential, really, because then people know what they're getting in the packet.
Yes.
Well, let's have a look at the next machine. You all right to move along?
This one's just the same.
Is it? So that's another cleaning machine, is it?
This one is again up. The first one we looked at was an American-made machine.
Yep.
This one came to us in about the same time. They're Bobby, made in Bury St Edmunds. Very similar machine, works on exactly the same principle.
So that's from Suffolk, is it? Not far away then, really? That's not far away at all.
These are one of the largest manufacturers of this type of machine in the world in their day.
Really?
Yes, yeah.
Are they still going, this company?
No,
It's probably gone offshore, is it, like most things?
Yes.
What's interesting about this is that this is obviously for cleaning the seed, but it's got much larger components on it than the other one. Is that because you use different seed? Or?
This one we would have used more for peas and beans, but it would clean any seed.
Right.
Yes.
Now, obviously peas and beans are quite big seeds, so hence the holes are a bit bigger, is that?
Yeah, but these sieves are all interchangeable, and we've got hundreds of them.
Right, okay.
Oh, they're round hole sieves, square hole sieves, long hole sieves, wire sieves, zinc sieves. There's all.
So you would literally just clip that out, bit there, and then you'd put another one in if you were changing seed.
Yeah.
Amazing, yeah. So Peter, I'm intrigued by this machine. Is this another form of cleaning seeds? Is it cleaning seeds with this?
This was a machine made really for one specific purpose. It's called, by Mr. Bobby, an anti-gravity separator. In the trade, they're called sliverers.
Right.
And they were made to take the slivers out of beetroot seed and mangle seed. The biggest part of this work this machine has ever done is clean and mangle, which are worth like fodder beet for cattle feed.
Yeah. And by a slither, you mean, is it like the calyx that would have been attached to the seed originally?
The actual, with the beetroot and mangle, the flower forms on the stem of the plant.
Right.
When the seed forms, it actually sets the seed on the stem of the plant. So when the crop is cut, it's laid on the ground, and when it's ripe, the combine goes through and combines it, and the action of the combine smashes everything up, but it does leave these short pieces of stick, which we call slivers.
Right.
They can be the same diameter and the same weight as the seed. So as we saw on the first machine, they can't be separated by diameter or by air. The way this machine works is by gravity. Where the seed being almost round, the seed can bobble down the canvas.
Right, okay, yeah. And the
slivers
is ejected over the so it's defying gravity completely.
It's a very, very simple process.
Yeah.
Before these were based on an old hand-driven machine, on the same on
Right.
the same principle.
So all you've done is you put a motor on it, but the exact same as they would have done it 50, 800 years ago. It's the same principle.
Years ago.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, yeah.
So it shows you, doesn't it? The simplest things are obviously always the most effective.
It's very evident if somebody hasn't got one of these machines, because
Is
you
it?
will find these.
You will find the slithers.
Yes.
Yeah,
So if they haven't
brilliant.
got one, you will find them.
I'll know that then. If I ever find a slither, I'll say you need to get a Bobby. Need a Bobby Limited. Yeah.